How to make a big business small is what we're talking about today in the eCentral Business Show. I'm John Nayler. Now I'm joined by Michael Reid, the Queensland State Manager for Cisco. Thanks for coming in.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me, John.
Now, strange question to be exploring with you, I think. I mean, how to make a big business small? Is it something to do with retrenchment or something like that?
No, we're trying to keep our staff and grow it. No, it's not about retrenchment. I work for a very, very large organisation, a big IT conglomerate based out of the US.
Yeah.
For those who don't know Cisco, I'll go into that maybe a little later, but they're a $190 billion organisation and something like 145,000 staff globally.
Yeah.
I run Queensland here in sunny Brisbane, and so the goal for me is to try and turn how do I make a 145,000 staff organisation feel like a 50 staff organisation focused on Queensland.
Oh, Queensland is classically a branch off a state in terms, isn't it? So yeah, you're part of that.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so I've got 50 staff here in Queensland. We've got a huge passion around making a massive difference into the Queensland market. So I guess from my perspective, I get to leverage this extremely enormous company and take all the power that provides and distill that down and make that feel like a small business, I suppose you could call it, here in Brisbane, supporting local businesses, local charities, local initiatives and so forth.
So what are the sorts of things you do then on the ground? How do you implement that?
Yeah, we've got so obviously we provide, in Queensland we provide $250 million worth of IT technology into the market.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yes.
That's substantial.
I guess it's a sizable business, and we would touch, I would say, 90 to 95% of businesses in some way, shape or form from providing technology. So that's important to continue, obviously, servicing our customers from that regard. However, my passion is around making that feel like a small organisation here. So how do we support local charities here in Queensland rather than supporting globals or nationals? How do we make a difference here with smaller businesses, larger businesses that are Brisbane-based or Queensland-based? And how do we give them a presence on a global stage, get them to stand up on a soapbox, tell their story to the world? How do I help facilitate that? We've got a big challenge here in Queensland with women in digital, as in actually getting women to join into the IT industry. It's more of a challenge here in Queensland than I find in some of the other states in Australia. I'm passionate about supporting that and how we make a difference there. Yeah,
we're both Queensland born, so we've grown up and understand that level of parochial that goes on. We are out here in the bush, so to speak, in the view of the Sydney people, at least, anyway. Yeah, I think I'm 10 months into this role. I spent 9 years in Sydney running banking and finance for Cisco, and I've now have this amazing opportunity to run the state. Yeah. And I guess the unique experience behind that is I get to meet all of the different amazing companies that are based here in Brisbane. And there's some phenomenal organisations that I guess the rest of the country probably doesn't take too much notice of. Yeah, and I think that's sort of a traditional Queensland mentality. It's sort of not to sing our praises and get up and tell the world what's going on. And I think we can probably do a better job of telling the story around all the amazing companies that are based out of Queensland or Brisbane, and a lot of them are startups. A lot of them are very big business. You've got Flight Centres and Domino's. And yeah, that's right. We sort of think of Domino's and Flight Centre and who else? But there's a lot out there.
There's a huge amount.
I trip over it all the time.
Is a good example. I mean, they've got a banking licence. They employ more than 600 IT staff, 300 developers sitting down in just down the road here. There's just millions of different companies here that are fascinating. There's quite there's a group that sit in that larger enterprise which are amazing, that probably people continually reference: Virgin, Flight Centre, Suncorp, Bank of Queensland, etc. Yeah. But there's a huge amount of other organisations that are making a massive difference, even on a global scale. So I get to meet with these amazing companies, and actually, I think the perception of what Queensland brings to Australia is probably less than what it can actually do. And I think one of my other passions is around how do we help grow Queensland as a whole? How do we help improve the profile or the image so that we help to attract bigger corporates, bigger businesses to invest more in Brisbane? I think it's an amazing opportunity right now to invest in Brisbane.
Oh, that's right. Well, you spoke off camera about like young talent and that sort of thing. Like even seems to be a bit of a gap in terms of like even school children appreciating that IT is such a huge part of everyone's life these days, but they don't make career choices around that. Yeah. You know, I was one of the first geeks in school. You know, back out we got some computers given to us, and it was like seemed amazing. It was a magnet for me, but that hasn't necessarily carried through to inspire
and that's what
the young generation.
I find that really fascinating. You know, I joined IT before IT was cool, as well, I guess maybe yourself as well.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool, but it certainly didn't have the trending that it has today. I mean, 7 out of the largest companies on the planet, you know, the Apple, Facebook, Google, Amazon, etc., etc., they're all IT-based organisations. The world is transitioning to that so quickly. 10 years ago, that wasn't the case. The number of staff that they're employing, I can't remember, you know, Amazon's doubling every 5 minutes.
And
if that continues, basically the opportunities that kids should be thinking about for the future has to be around a digital path. That is what's disrupting all the other industries, and therefore there has to be some sort of want to get into that space, otherwise we won't have enough people in that space. And I think if you go to a school today, and I've been to a number of schools, and you ask kids in year 12, what do you want to do when you finish? The answer is lawyer, doctor, accountant, nurse, teacher, plumber, carpenter, etc. And then, of course, there's a few of the same people that were in at school when we were at school with propeller heads that loved IT will still be in that space, but we need a huge amount more people thinking that that's a great industry to get into. And one of my messages is to all kids at school or even at university is, you don't have to have an IT degree to go into IT. You don't necessarily just have to have a huge passion around IT. A huge amount of my organisation requires communications people that can learn and understand technology, get to that point. Anyone can. If you've got an iPhone, I'm sure you can work that out.
Of both genders as well.
100%. And in fact, you know, I think hence the discussion around females in this industry. Females bring a huge amount of benefit into this workforce, and we are not tapping into that. I guess we're not doing a good job of creating the right environment to bring enough females into that organisation. I think that that's starting to change, but we've got a long way to go. The IT industry right now in Queensland is sort of pretty similar to how it looked in the late 80s, early 90s. A bunch of people basically joined the IT industry at that point in time, and they've progressed their careers through. Yeah. So we've got not only a diversity gap in females, but we actually have an age diversity gap here in Queensland. And it's due to the fact that we're a branch organisation, branch office out here, rather than building all of the inside sales and creating a future path for early in career opportunities. That all lives in Sydney. Yeah, we don't have that opportunity here. So the challenge is you always end up having to hire someone with 5 years experience in IT. Well, 5 years ago, the same thing was, 5 years ago, my predecessor 5 years ago would have had to have hired someone with 5 years experience. And so you keep going back. There's no opportunity to hire someone with 0 experience to actually start them in the industry.
Bring on new talent, yeah. Now, we're just about out of time, Michael, but getting back to that central subject about making a big business small, so and that's, you obviously have a passion around that sort of thing, and inspiring the younger generation, the women in digital, that sort of thing. So, but where does this come from you? I mean, why? What do you see it as part of the magic? Because Cisco's not really a known name, but you obviously feel that this is a winning formula for making Cisco more relevant and a better company in Queensland.
Well, you know, I'm passionate about making a difference wherever you are and whichever organisation you represent, and in effect you can make a massive impact. Technology is designed and built in the US potentially and distributed around the world. It's people that make that happen, and it's local people. It's people like face-to-face communication. It's people on site with potentially screwdrivers making a difference, coding in. So there's a huge human element to all business, regardless of whether it's technology or not. So you must have a passion around building that into your local community, and
into your business, yeah.
Correct, and that's. I mean, we support enormous health organisations and education. We need to ensure that the future generation have wireless access in their schools so that they can use all their devices. We need to make sure that hospitals do not go down. We need to make sure trains continue to run.
Yeah, wow.
And we need to do that from a local perspective.
Yeah, okay. We're absolutely out of time, but we've accessed the passion there, and that's what I love to do on this show. So very much, thank you very much, Michael, for coming in and represent Cycle today.
Thanks.
So, Cisco, thank you. Okay, that's another episode done at the eCentral Business Show. I'm John Nayler.